Welcome, everyone, to our class today to help you improve your English speaking fluency, which is what I know you want to do. And we'll do this as a listen and repeat so you improve your pronunciation at the same time. You'll shadow me to sound just like a native. Are you excited? So let's talk about TV shows and movies because it's part of your daily routine, of course. So let's say someone asks you in the real world, not your teacher, but a colleague, a neighbor, a native speaking friend says, "Have you seen anything good lately?" That's how they would say it in natural spoken English. Now, I want you to answer this question. Remember, you always want to consider the context. So the context of this question is TV shows and movies. And they say to you, "Have you seen anything good lately? Have you seen anything good lately?" So how would you answer this? Like a native, put your best answer in the comments. Now notice this sentence structure here. We have the present perfect because the action started in the past and continues until now. They're asking about your recent behavior. So that's the word lately, but you could also replace it with recently. And anything good in this context means anything worth watching. So, a TV show worth watching, a movie worth watching. Worth, and then your verb in ing. Worth watching. Worth watching. Okay, so we have Paslak said, "I've been watching House of Paper." Excellent job using the present perfect continuous. I've been watching because for Paslak, it started in the past and continues until now. I've been watching House of Paper. Remember that the time reference word you use matters because now is the present continuous. I'm teaching now. I've been teaching recently or lately or just no keyword. So I would replace the word now with recently, lately, or just no keyword. Okay. Have you seen anything good lately? I have. So Simply Des wants to know, I have. Yes, you absolutely can. I have. Now, the person would probably be like, "Okay, well, tell me more." It's a pretty short answer. So if you're having a one-to-one conversation, they'd probably stay silent because they assume you're going to continue on and tell them about the show. Okay, so let's try this one. I've seen this touching movie called My Year in Oxford on Netflix. I recommend it. I love this. I recommend it. I recommend it. You recommend something. I recommend it being the movie called My Year in Oxford. Excellent comment, Melina. Well done. And touching means, if it's touching, it means it causes an emotional reaction, a positive emotional reaction. So maybe it was just something inspirational or full of love, full of kindness, full of hope, some sort of positive emotion. Okay, so let's review some things I might say. But first, this is just an alternative because notice this was in the present perfect. Now, I could also focus on right now. Remember, I explained to another student the time reference matters. So here I'm using the verb in ing. Are you watching anything good right now? The present continuous. Okay. So I might say as a reply, yeah. So remember to that one student, I said, you can say I have, but then I would recommend continuing on because otherwise it's just a very short answer. It's not very conversational. So I could just say, yeah, yeah. That's saying, yes, I have. So yeah, yeah. I'm watching this amazing crime drama. Now, notice even if the question is in the present perfect, I can still answer in the present continuous. Doing that simply focuses on right now rather than a past action that continues until now. So it absolutely is possible that you use the present continuous. But if I wanted to use the present perfect, I would say, yeah, I've been watching this amazing crime drama. I've been watching this amazing crime drama. So I guess Law and Order, that could be an example of an amazing crime drama. So if I stop here, it invites the person to ask a question. Oh, really? What kind of crime drama? What's it called? Who's in it? Who's in it? Because you act in a movie. So the actors are in a movie. So if someone said, who's in it? They're asking if anyone famous, anyone well known. So in a movie, you might say, actually, Leonardo DiCaprio or whoever is a famous actor. Who's in it? Who's in it? So that could be a follow up question. Okay, so that's one way. So if you say who's starring, you would still add in it because you star in a movie. You don't just star. Who's starring? That's incomplete. Who's starring in the movie? In the movie. Who's starring in the movie? Now, you can just replace movie or TV show with it. Who's starring in it? You can say who's the star. Who's the star? So in this case, it's a noun. Who's the star? So this means who is the celebrity in the movie? Who is the famous person in the movie? So who's in it? Who's starring in it? Who's the star? Yeah, but you can't imply it because grammatically it's required. Because you don't, like I said, grammatically, you don't star. You star in a movie. So in English, certain verbs require objects and prepositions. And this is the case. Okay, so here's another potential answer. Actually, I just finished The Blacklist. Have you seen it? So actually, it's just used more of a transition word in this case. It doesn't have a lot of meaning, but is very commonly used by native speakers. Actually, I just finished The Blacklist. You could add on, I just finished watching, but it's not required. I just finished The Blacklist. So The Blacklist, because you can see the first letter is capitalized, then it is a proper noun, the blacklist. Yeah, Lova, this is an excellent one. Who is the main character? Who's the main character? That's a great question to ask for sure. Excellent. Now notice, have you seen it? This is in the present perfect because in this case, I'm using it in the present perfect because it's an incomplete time reference. Have you seen it? No, not yet. No, I haven't. But I may start watching it tomorrow. Or yes, I have seen it. So it's in the present perfect because it's a unfinished time reference. It's still possible for the person to watch it. Who is the hero? So the word hero is used specifically in action movies where there is a hero or any movie that has a hero. Not every movie has a hero, right? So, yes, you can ask this, but really only in specific movies, not in general. Okay. And yes, actually is like a filler word in this case. Actually, yeah, what's the plot? What's the plot? What is the plot? But no spoilers. Spoiler is a noun, so you have to add an S. But no spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. I love that. That's actually what I say to everyone. If they ask me if I'm watching something or if I've seen something, I would say, no, I haven't. What's it like? No spoilers. No spoilers. It means don't tell me any of the most important or shocking, revealing information because why would I want to watch the movie if I know that the main character dies or if they get married? There's no point of watching it if I know the ending. So no spoilers is how you would say that. Okay. So, how about this one? So, remember the question is, are you watching anything good right now? And then you can say, honestly, I usually just rewatch old episodes of Friends. So, honestly is used here just to let the person know that you're saying this with truth. Well, I guess that's the meaning of honestly, but it's used in this context when maybe they expect you to watch something new and recent. There are all these amazing shows. And then you're watching a show that's 20 years old. So you use honestly just to acknowledge that situation. Honestly, I usually just rewatch old episodes of Friends. And then instead of Friends, you can put whatever TV show you want. But because I said episodes, it's a TV show because there are no episodes in a movie. There might be a sequel, which is part 2 or part 3 or part 4, but they're not called episodes. Episodes is used with TV shows. No, you can. That wouldn't sound correct in this context. You can replace it with to be honest. To be honest, you could replace it with actually. Actually, to be honest, honestly, not genuinely. You use genuinely to describe how you would share information. For example, like I gave her my advice genuinely. So it describes how I gave her my advice, for example, but not in this context. Mm, okay, so technically, frankly, could be used, but I don't think it's the most important or the best choice in this situation. You could, but it would sound not the most commonly used. We generally use frankly when we want to provide criticism or honest feedback, or we want to disagree with someone. For example, if you say, you might reply to this and say, frankly, that sounds like a waste of time. So you're saying something critical to me. And then you can use frankly to let me know that you're just saying it. You're not going to pretend. You're not going to try to make it sound better. You're just going to say it. So, frankly, that sounds like a waste of time. That's how you could use frankly. Okay. Well, this person, Hosam, said, you watch articles on Jennifer's YouTube channel. I support that. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, here's another potential reply. I'm watching. I'm watching. It's the present continuous. I'm watching a few things right now. So notice it's a few. It's not few. Sometimes students use few, but 90% of the time you want a few. A few. I'm watching a few things right now. So a few means a small number. And things represents TV shows, movies, specials, whatever. Anything on TV. So it could be 3, it could be 4, but it's a small number of. I'm watching a few things right now. They're okay. Nothing special. They're okay. So by saying they're okay, we have terrible, bad, okay, good, very good, excellent, amazing. So, okay is just right in the middle. 5 out of 10. They're okay, nothing special. So it sounds like you don't really recommend them to anyone. Okay. So another potential reply. Remember the question was, have you seen anything good lately? Are you watching anything good right now? And then you can reply back and say, not really. Not really. So, not really is the short form of, I'm not watching anything good. Not really. Not really. Do you have any recommendations? So, because I am not watching anything good, I might ask you, do you have any recommendations? Do you have any recommendations? So, when you have any, you want the plural form of the noun, assuming you can form a plural. When I ask you, do you have any advice, which I wouldn't use in this context, but if I needed advice from you and I say, do you have any advice? Advice can never have an S. Do you have any homework? Homework can never have an S. But with nouns that are regular nouns, which are the majority, then with any, you want a plural noun. Any recommendations? Do you have any recommendations? What would you recommend? That could be another way. What are you watching right now? So you can just ask the question back to the person. Here's a recommendation. Yes, I recommend Squid Games. I recommend Squid Games. So, excellent sentence structure. You recommend something. Recommend something. Okay, let's keep going. How about let's move on to budgeting? Budgeting. All right. So the question, well, before I get to that, I have this free speaking guide for you, and you can download it right from my website, jforestenglish.com. In this guide, I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. I share my best tips and advice and some bonus tips and advice for you as well once you sign up. And if you're enjoying this lesson, if you want to learn more natural phrases, how to speak like a native, put yes, 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 yes in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this lesson and subscribe so you're notified every time I go live as well. So make sure you like this lesson. It truly supports the channel. Okay, so remember the context is budgeting. Budgeting. So the image says it all, budgeting. Okay, so let's say your coworker, a neighbor, a friend, a first date, someone asks you, Are you more of a saver or a spender? Are you more of a saver or a spender? What does this mean? What do you think? While you think about it, I'll acknowledge Martina, woohoo, Roya, Hidaki, Marcel, Farouk, Leda, and Jorge. Woohoo! Thank you, everyone. I am so glad, Mariama. Yeah, this is called a piggy bank. Piggy bank, piggy bank, piggy bank. Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Manuel. Just hit that like button. If you're here, you're getting value. It only takes a second. So hit that like button because it does take me a lot of effort to create these lessons for you, free for you. So make sure you show your support and like the lesson because it's the only way that I can keep providing these lessons for you. It truly matters and it takes literally 1 second. Thank you so much. Okay. Melina says, I'm not proud of saying this, but I'm a spender. Spender. Okay. So notice I have the ER forms here. I'm a spender. I'm a spender. Oh, thank you so much, Ariel. And thank you for saying yes, yes, yes. And for your donation. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, are you more of a saver? A saver is a person who saves. A spender is a person who spends. And of course, we're talking about money. Farouk says, I'm a saver, but my wife is a spender. And great job because you included the article. The article is required. I'm a saver. I'm a saver. I'm a saver. How about you? I like that. How about you? You always want to continue on a conversation. And a perfect way of doing that is by asking the person the same question you were just asked. How about you? How about you? Another way is, what about you? What about you? Okay. I'm so glad you enjoy my way of teaching. Your best way of showing you appreciate it is by liking this lesson and sharing it with your friends as well. So please do that if you haven't already. Okay, Dillick says, I'm a saver. I'm a saver. I'm a saver, but sometimes also a spender. Yeah, you don't want to save all your money all the time, but maybe you don't want to spend all your money all the time. So it's probably a little bit of both, right? I'm a saver. I'm a saver. Okay. Let's keep going with some answers. So here's one. I'm definitely a saver. Saver. Make sure you get that sharp sound. Saver, saver, saver. I'm definitely a saver. I like having a safety net. Okay, so if you jump off a building, you certainly hope there's a safety net. It's what is going to catch you. Okay, so that's if literally a safety net is what will catch you. So you do not die if you jump off a building. In that context, you can think of a safety net is an amount of money in your bank account that is there if you lose your job. If your roof collapses and you need to you have to put in a new roof. If your car breaks down. So that's a safety net, having enough money to support you when you need it. Okay. And adding definitely just makes it obviously stronger. So you can say, I'm a saver. I'm definitely a saver. That sounds a lot stronger. Okay. How about this one? I'm trying to curb my spending on non-essentials. I'm trying to curb my spending on non-essentials, to curb something. In this case, the something is my spending. So my spending represents how much I spend on a day-to-day basis. I'm trying to curb my spending. So curb, the verb to curb, and notice that pronunciation, it's a curb, means I'm trying to limit or control. Limit or control. So it sounds like right now this person spends more than they would like or more than they should. And non-essentials, well, that would be things like going to the movies, eating at restaurants. They're not requirements, but buying food at the grocery store, putting gas in your car, paying your mortgage, those are essentials. Okay, so we have categories: essentials and non-essentials. Essentials, non-essentials. So you might distinguish between those when you're asked a question about budgeting or spending. Okay, how about this one? It's important to save for emergencies. So remember, I gave some examples of emergencies. Your roof is leaking, your car breaks down, you lose your job, there's an illness, and the treatment is expensive. Those are emergencies. It's important to save for emergencies, but I also enjoy splurging now and again. Now and again. Notice the pronunciation: now and again. Now and again. Now and again. Repeat after me. Now and again. Now and again. Now and again. When you splurge, it means you spend more money than you usually do. And it can be on any item. So let's say you normally get your lunch at a cafe and you just get a simple sandwich and it's cheap, or a simple bowl of soup. But then it's your birthday or it's Friday, why not? And you decide to splurge and you go to a restaurant and get lobster or a steak. So you spend more money than you normally do on lunch. Okay. So splurging doesn't necessarily mean just to spend money. It means to spend more money than you usually do on certain items. So that's what splurging means. Splurging. And notice this use of but, because it's for a contrast. We have, it's important to save for emergencies. So we're talking about saving. But then splurging is spending. So the two ideas are, they're not opposites, but there's a contrast there. So we use but is the everyday, however is more formal to connect two contrasting ideas. Without but, it sounds abrupt. It sounds like you're just sharing two random ideas, but shows the connection between those ideas. But I also enjoy splurging now and again. Okay, so now and again, this is the same as saying occasionally, from time to time. So it's not a part of my regular routine. It's a smaller part of my routine. Exactly. Things like your birthday, an anniversary, you got a promotion, you're celebrating someone else's success. It's summer and it's a long weekend. There are many reasons to splurge in life. And yes, it means once in a while. Once in a while. That's a great way of saying it. Once in a while, now and again, from time to time. Exactly. It's not on a regular basis. Yeah, sometimes. That's a good way of thinking of it. Sometimes. Sometimes. Excellent job, everyone. How about this one? As far as I'm concerned, so this is how you can share your opinion. Instead of saying, in my opinion, as far as I'm concerned. Now, this is really an everyday thing to say. In my opinion, sounds almost to me a little more formal. As far as I'm concerned, it sounds like how you would share your opinion when you're just in a everyday situation. You're not in a debate, you're not giving a presentation. It's not formal. It's just everyday conversation. As far as I'm concerned, as far as, and then your verb to be, of course, matches the subject, and then concerned with a soft D, always in the ED form. As far as I'm concerned, money is meant to be enjoyed. Something a spender would say. A spender, which means someone who enjoys spending money. Money is meant to be enjoyed. So is meant to be. That means the purpose of money, the reason why money exists. Money is meant to be enjoyed. Money is meant to be enjoyed. So that is how you can say you're a spender without specifically saying I'm a spender. You can say something that just implies you love spending money, which is a more advanced way of answering a question. Are you a spender? Yes, I'm a spender. That doesn't really sound like how a native speaker would answer a question. They might say something like this: money is meant to be enjoyed. All right. How about this? I have no problem treating myself and enjoying the luxuries of life. This is another way that a spender might say, yes, I'm a spender, but without using those words. I have no problem treating myself, treating myself. So to treat one's self, so it has to be reflexive. She has no problem treating herself. So it has to be reflexive, okay, with the subject. It means that you are happy to spend money on yourself. So, how would you treat yourself? Well, you can go to a nice restaurant. You can upgrade your seat on transportation. You can go to the VIP movie theater. You can buy the large popcorn instead of the small popcorn. So you can go to a spa and get a facial every month. Those are all examples of treating yourself. And they're also examples of the luxuries of life and enjoying. So notice the sentence structure: to have no problem doing something. Okay. So I have no problem. And then your verb in ing. So everyone try that. And if you say I have no problem, it means you're perfectly happy to do it. Or also it can be something to do with your skills. So it can be you're perfectly capable of doing something as well. I have no problem treating myself and verb and ing and enjoying the luxuries of life, the luxuries of life. So, whatever that means to you. Because my definition of a luxury is probably different from your definition of a luxury and another person's definition of a luxury. And yes, pampering yourself is another replacement to treat yourself, to pamper yourself. Good one. All right. Woohoo. I'm so glad, Suad. Thank you so much. Make sure you like this lesson because it truly is your best way of showing me that you are enjoying this lesson. All right. I have to acknowledge this because I think this is just not a helpful thing to say because you can enjoy luxuries at whatever income level you're at. Maybe for your income level, a luxury is very different from Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or the billionaires of the world, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy yourself. Maybe it's just something different. So you might be your definition of what a luxury is may be different, but I don't agree with that statement. And I don't think it's a very helpful or positive thing to say. All right, let's continue. How about talking about your neighborhood? Your neighborhood. So in this image, you see an example of a neighborhood. A neighborhood is an area of a city. So a neighborhood is not a city. If you have a city, there might be 5, 10, 15, 20 different neighborhoods. So a neighborhood is a collection of houses in close proximity. So in one area. And those houses combined are considered one neighborhood. Okay, so here's the question. What do you like most about your neighborhood? A very IELTS style question, isn't it? Well, this is something that someone may ask you because if you're new to a city, if you move, maybe someone is considering moving to your neighborhood. Well, then they might ask you, "Oh, well, what do you like most about your neighborhood?" Your neighborhood. So everyone answer this question as best you can. And as best you can, let's see what you have to say, and then I'll provide some answers as well. What do you like? What do you like? What do you like? So you can be more of an unstressed yeah, what do ya, or what do you? What do you like? What do you like most? You could also replace that word with least. And then if it's least, you're going to be criticizing. Most, you're going to be saying positive things, of course. Okay. Meryl said, I love your blouse. I can be a spender to buy it. Oh, well, thank you so much. Natalia said, the thing I like most about my neighbors is that they don't interfere with my business. That's very good. Excellent. I like the quiet and peaceful atmosphere. That's a great one. So I like the atmosphere, and then quiet and peaceful are adjectives that describe the atmosphere. I live in the countryside, so there aren't a lot of things to do. Is that what you like most or least? But good answer. The people are so friendly. That's an awesome thing. Absolutely enjoying the sunrise every single day. Well, that is a lovely thing to say. I like them because they are so kind. That's very nice. Just one distinction here. Neighborhood represents the geographical area. Neighbors Do you like your neighbors? Neighbors are people. Okay, so it's not the same. A neighborhood is just a geographical area. A neighborhood can't be nice or friendly. The people in your neighborhood who are your neighbors can be nice, can be friendly. So, just an important distinction there. I like the variety of stores in my neighborhood. Exactly, exactly. Oh, I like this. It's always bustling, bustling and not sleepy. Wonderful. I like that. Very nice. Okay. So you can say, I love that it's quiet and safe. So my neighborhood, that represents it. I love that my neighborhood it's quiet and safe. It's the perfect place to raise a family, to raise a family. So here, the verb is to raise. And what do you raise? A family. When you raise a family, it means that's where your kids grow up. So that's where you you bring your kids either when they're born or when they're young, and they spend their childhood there. So that's to raise a family. Okay, how about this? I love how close I am to nature. So, one student said that they live in a rural area. So, that could be what you love most. I love how close I am to nature. So, close in the sense of proximity, because in a large urban city, Manhattan, Tokyo, there's probably not a lot of nature. But if you live in outside of the city or a rural area, you can say, I love how close I am to nature. There are lots of parks and green spaces. Okay. So a green space is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically another word for park, but a green space could be a long stretch of area that maybe you ride your bike on, that you can uh, walk your dog on. So it could be a path, or it could be just that there's only trees. So it's just a dedicated area where you're not allowed to build houses. So that could be a green space. There are lots of parks and green spaces. A park sounds more like a specific green space with benches, swings, things for kids, sandbox, a slide, maybe a soccer field. So that would be a park, but a green space could just be trees. So a little bit different, but also the same. Okay, Marcella likes that there are lots of restaurants. I really like it when birds chirp. Yeah, you can say, I love listening to the birds chirping or singing. You could say that as well, but yours is grammatically correct. Yeah, it could be a field, but it's not only a field, but it could be a field for sure. Okay, you can say, I love how walkable it is. Do you know walkable? I love how walkable it is. So, walkable is an adjective. I love how walkable it is. This means you can walk to restaurants, parks, stores. You don't have to drive everywhere. So, it's easy to walk around, to get to places. I love how walkable it is. And you need this word how. I love how walkable it is. There are so many nice shops, cafes, and restaurants nearby. So nearby represents near my neighborhood. The correct pronunciation of spaces, spaces, sis, spaces, spaces. So the syllable stress on the first syllable, spaces, spaces. You must use a lot of, okay? But you can say a lot of, lots of, because you can use lots with an S, but no article, because you don't use a singular countable article with a plural noun. So a lot of, lots of. They're the same thing. Lots of is more casual. It's not slang, but it's more casual. A lot of is just the standard one. Lot of is grammatically incorrect because you must use the article a lot of. Great question. How about this one? What I love most. So this is the more traditional way of answering what I love most about my neighborhood. You don't have to say that. Is the strong community feeling. So if there's a strong community feeling, it means that people interact with each other. You know your neighbors, you know everyone. So here's an example. There are a lot of community events and everyone knows each other. Everyone knows each other. So you're walking down the street, you're like, hey, Bill, hey, Jane. So everyone knows each other. It has a strong community feel. Now, let's move on to exercise. Of course, I can't leave you without talking about exercise. So let's do that. Ooh, I like this. Rio de Janeiro is a walkable city. I love that. A city. What type of city? A walkable city. Excellent sentence structure, Melina. You can always go for a walk on the beach and feel the breeze. Feel the breeze. Wow. I feel like I'm there right now. That's an excellent comment. Well written. No, you can absolutely say everyone knows one another. You can say that. It sounds maybe a little more formal. Everyone knows one another. Everyone knows each other. Each other sounds the most natural, but you can say one another. Okay. How do you like to stay in shape? So to stay in shape, in shape represents you're fit, you're not overweight, you're healthy in terms of your body. So that would be in shape, okay? But notice, stay implies that you are in shape and you just want to remain in shape. How do you like to stay in shape? To stay in shape. To be ripped, that's not the exact same thing. I am not ripped, okay? But I am in shape. Someone who is ripped has big muscles. So for a guy to be ripped, they would have really big muscles. They would have a six pack. A six pack is when you can see your abs on your stomach. Now, it applies to women as well, but of course, the amount of muscle that a woman has to be considered ripped is different from a man. So ripped means muscly. I am not ripped at all, and I am happy about that. I don't want to be ripped. So not the same thing, but I love it. Okay. I prefer to control what I eat, what I consume. Exactly. That's how you stay in shape. Make sure that You don't get overweight. Good one. Good one. Okay, Ariel, staying in shape by is a preposition, so you need your verb in ing. By exercising in the gym, by exercising. And very nice. I'm glad you do that. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you for the invitation. I would love to go. I've heard amazing things about Brazil. I mean, everybody has. Everybody knows that Brazil is this beautiful place, and Rio being one of those well known places. I would love to go for sure. Okay, how about this? I'm not a fan of the gym, so I work out at home with fitness videos. So this is how you like staying in shape. So your preferred method, your preferred method. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. This is another way of saying I don't like. But notice to be a fan of something. I'm not a fan of the gym. I don't like the gym. So is to provide the reason why as a result. So I work out. So here the verb is the phrasal verb to work out, which is the same as exercise. So I work out at home with fitness videos. With high intensity interval training. That's exactly what I do. This describes me. I'm not a fan of the gym. I don't want to see all those guys like, ooh, lifting weights, trying to get all ripped. Okay. I'm not fond of the gym. You can absolutely say that, but in that case, it's not a fond. It's just I'm not fond. I'm not fond. But here, I'm not a fan of. Okay. A fan of, fond. But great one. Same thing. How about this? I love going to the gym. So, of course, this describes many people. I love going to the gym. I go at least 3 times a week, usually before work. So, the frequency, which is in the present simple. I go to the gym, but because that I just mentioned it, you don't need to say it. I go at least, so this means a minimum, at least 3 times a week, usually before work. So usually means that not always, maybe once a week I go after work or on my lunch break, for example. How about this one? I have 2 dogs, so I get enough exercise just taking them for walks every day. Okay, so this is how you stay in shape. You just have your daily routine and you get enough exercise so you don't have to go to the gym or do fitness DVDs or a video in your basement like I do. You can just walk your dogs and that's enough. I have 2 dogs, so I get enough exercise. Enough means sufficient. I get enough exercise just taking them for walks every day because you take a pet, so them represents the dogs, just taking my dogs for walks every day. I'm not a big fan of working out indoors. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big fan of working out indoors. Yeah, very nicely done. You need the S on indoors, though. That's the only thing. You can use indoor without the S as an adjective. But in this case, because it's a noun, you need the S on it. I'm not a big fan of working out. So, working out, that's the phrasal verb to work out. Indoors, outdoors. Inside, no S. Outside, no S. Indoors, S. Outdoors, S. I'm glad you said that. Great example. Okay. I used to be an avid runner. So we have used to be. So this means that it was a routine action in the past, but not anymore. I used to be an avid runner. So I used to be a runner. Just like a saver, a spender, it's a person who runs. A person who runs is a runner. Just like you might say, I'm a soccer player. So I'm a runner, or I'm a gamer. I'm a person who games. So I'm a runner. Avid means that you are very passionate about it. You did it frequently as part of your daily routine. I used to be an avid runner, but that was years ago now. I should really take it up again. So really just intensifies it. I should take it up again. Should is a recommendation. And then you have modal plus base verb and really makes it sound stronger. I should really take it up. So if you take something up, it means you start something as part of your regular routine. The word again, because this person used to be an avid runner. This is a really nice answer. It's complex, but it uses everyday natural speech in a complex way. If you said this on an IELTS, wow, maximum score. Okay, I bike to work every day. So this is how you like to stay in shape. I bike to work every day. So this person uses their bicycle, as the form of transportation. And bike is the verb. I bike. You can say, I ride my bike. So in that case, bike is a noun, but in this case, it's the verb. I bike to work every day. Just like you could say, I drive to work every day. I bike to work every day. And on weekends, I usually play tennis. Usually. So adverb of frequency. I used to be stuck at English before finding out about Jennifer's YouTube channel. I am so glad you're not stuck anymore. Everyone, like this lesson. If you agree with this comment, put woohoo in the comments as well. So I know that you're excited, you're enthusiastic, and you mean the same. Okay, and we'll leave it there. Awesome place to end. And remember that you can get this free speaking guide. You can go to my website, jforrestenglish.com. You'll see it right there. Just enter your email. It will be emailed to you, and you'll also get a lot of bonus resources, bonus tips, bonus advice as well. So make sure you get this. I share all my best information, and also put something positive in the comments. Yes, yes, yes. Woohoo. Let's go. Anything positive in the comments. Like this lesson if you haven't already. So I know you enjoyed it. I know it was valuable, and I know you want me to keep making lessons just like this as well. Marcel likes it. Woohoo. Hidaki likes it. 2 positive comments. Thank you so much. And everyone, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Like this lesson as well. You're the best. Woohoo. Thank you so much. Anything in the comments, I don't care what you put. Woohoo. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome all the way to Venezuela. You're the best, Jorge. Woohoo. You like the lesson. Thank you. George Jorge. I'm not sure how you say it. You're very welcome, Martin. You're very welcome all the way to Indonesia. Have a good day as well. Thank you, Horatio. Nice seeing you, Rael. You're very welcome. Let's go. Let's go. Woohoo. Yes, you are the best student. Hello to Turkey. Thank you so much for participating. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. It was so amazing being here. And if you enjoyed this lesson, let me know. I had fun, so we can keep doing lessons like this as well if you enjoyed it. All right, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see all of you in my next one. Bye.